Welcome to the Alan Berry Reports TV show. I'm Alan Berry Labucan. I'm the editor of the Alan Berry Reports and the host of this show. Thank you very much for joining us today. Some of the commodities that I follow, the key reason I follow every commodity is due to long-term supply and demand fundamentals. I've talked about these in past shows, and basically it goes that there's strong demand coming from developed and emerging economies, and the sector is not well prepared to meet that demand due to long-term underspending in the supply chain. But the secondary reason, and it's a very important reason that I follow these commodities, is some of these commodities are exceptionally good at being economic indicators. Take, for example, copper. Some people call it Dr. Copper, and the reason is that it has an advanced degree, they say, in economics. And basically what that all means is that when an economy is growing, they need copper to grow that economy. And so when economies are growing rapidly, they consume a lot more of copper. And it is so integral to economic development that, when it comes to economic development, one of the key things that all about economic development is when you bring power and all the various different products that come off of that, lights, computers, all the various different devices that we use that need power, electricity to power them, and you need copper in order to bring that to the masses. And so this is why copper is such an important indicator of economic growth. And so following what happens with copper, not just the price is important to follow, but the key thing is the demand side. And on the demand front, if you look at the price, you look at the demand, there's been strong demand for copper, and this is why copper has been performing exceptionally well for the last 6, 7, 8 years, and it had a stall there in late 2008 when the global economy sort of hit the skids, but it was quick to react on the positive. Now, sometimes copper can be an extremely good indicator of what's happening in the United States economy, but that was more when the United States was really the engine of global economic growth. As we're moving forward, the emerging economies are becoming more and more important, and so now I think copper really really tells you about what's happening with the global economy. Later, I'm going to talk about where this is leading as far as what copper is telling us. Another commodity that we follow closely is oil. And oil is much like copper as far as it being integral to economic growth. If you don't have oil to move things around, and you don't have copper to help electrify those things or bring power to those things, then you're not going to have much economic growth. And so how things are going with the price tells part of the story of what's happening on and demand tells a good part of the story. So lately, copper and oil are really telling a similar story as far as the global economy. Now, another commodity that we follow is diamonds. And again, the key reason for following any of the commodities we do is because of the long-term supply and demand fundamentals. But diamonds are also a good indicator of how the, let's say, the top end of the global economy is performing. And when the economy hit the skids in 2008 there, the demand for diamonds dropped precipitously, very rapidly and very aggressively. But lately, the demand is starting to pick up quite significantly. And I have some friends that are in the rough diamond dealing business, and they've been telling me that the sales that have been happening for diamonds have been very aggressive on the large stones, and from China and India, there's starting to be an emerging demand for the smaller stones. So right across the board, there's good demand coming, and this is a good indication that the top end of the global economy is starting to spend money again. So I wanted to sort of wrap things up into what this all says for what these copper, oil, and diamonds are starting to indicate. And what they're starting to indicate is that on the global economy, it looks like the global economy is well into the recovery phase after the debacle of late 2008, and that the recovery is probably quite a bit more solid, globally speaking, than many people are recognizing currently. Copper and oil are sort of both pointing in that direction, as well as diamonds are pointing in the direction that the global economy is heading towards a better situation, and it's probably quite quickly. And getting back to what I had said about the United States, and it doesn't mean, just because I said that they used to be the engine of the global economy, doesn't mean that they're not a very important part of the global economy, and they are extremely important. And I think that copper and oil are also showing that there's the recovery is starting to get some traction in the global leader of the United States, and we're starting to see some signs of that in the earnings of the S&P 500. I think that the corporate America is heading in the right direction. The earnings are starting to head in the right direction. We're seeing, and then combined with things starting to head towards better situation in the United States, we're also seeing good signs globally. China and India, the economies are growing quite rapidly. The exports are up quite nicely. So I think you could, in a nutshell, say that the global the indications from commodities, the key commodities, copper and oil, are showing that the global economy is recovering, and it's probably recovering in a healthy fashion, and things in the developed economy, specifically the United States, are starting to turn around quite nicely as well. Before closing, I'd like to stress this show is for information purposes only. We're not making buying or selling recommendations. It's important for you to do your own homework and speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. We're always trying to grow the audience, and if you'd like to help us, if you look below the screen, you're going to see the share button, and this enables you to help pass the information about how to find the show. You can send it through Twitter, Facebook, or email, and just look at that share button. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch this show. We're well aware that everybody is busy these days, and we strive to produce a show that saves you time and gives you helpful, high-quality information. As always, we hope you join us for future shows or visit our website at allenberryreports.com. Have a great day.